Quick disclaimer, Learn from Mac is an independent educational project. We are not affiliated with, endorsed by, or sponsored by Apple, or any vendor or product covered in this course. Hey, welcome to Learn from Mac. I'm Dennis, and this is day 00 of the F5 LTM r4600 Bootcamp. Before we touch a single command with intent to change anything, this lesson is about orientation, what this box actually is, how its operating system is built, and how to read what it's already telling you about itself. Let's get into it. First, the goal for today. By the end of this lesson, you'll understand what the BIG-IP r4600 is, how TMOS is architected, which licensing tiers exist, and where Local Traffic Manager fits in the broader F5 portfolio, so every lab for the next 30 days has a foundation to build on. Here's what you need. Access to a BIG-IP r4600 physical or a lab VE, running TMOS 17.x, SSH access to the management interface, plus a browser pointed at the TMUI on port 443, a valid license file or active entitlement from your F5 account team, and basic comfort with TCP IP fundamentals, OSI layers, routing, VLANs, firewall basics. Now, the concepts that everything else this month builds on. Concept 1, the r4600 hardware platform. It's a mid-range 2-rack unit appliance in F5's R-series lineup, built on an Intel x86 CPU with dedicated FPGA-based hardware acceleration for high-throughput TLS offload and layer 4 through 7 load balancing, multiple 1, 10, and 25 gig Ethernet interfaces, an out-of-band management port, dual hot swap power supplies, purpose-built for sustained enterprise and data center edge traffic. Concept 2, TMOS itself. TMOS is the event-driven operating system underneath every BIG-IP, and its defining feature is separating the control plane, configuration, routing, management daemons from the data plane, which is TMM, the traffic management microkernel, running in user space and handling every single packet. That separation is why a configuration change never requires a full OS reboot, and why a TMM restart stays isolated from the control plane. Concept 3. LTM, the base module. Local Traffic Manager provides full proxy, layer 4 through 7 load balancing. It terminates client TCP and TLS connections, makes load balancing decisions through virtual servers and pools, and opens independent server-side connections, giving you complete visibility and control of both sides of every flow. Every other module, DNS, ASM, APM, AFM, sits on top of LTM's full proxy foundation. Concept 4, licensing tiers. F5 sells LTM in 3 bundles. Good, which is LTM core only. Better, which adds DNS and GTM. And Best, which adds APM, AFM, and WAF on top of that. On our R4600 at Contoso, TMSH show sys license is how you verify exactly what's entitled. The active module's stanza tells you the truth, and provisioning something unlicensed fails silently in the GUI, but throws a real error in TMSH. All right, 3 labs, back-to-back, right on screen, and every one of them is read-only discovery. Nothing gets changed today. First, we confirm platform identity and license. Then we map TMSH against the iControl REST API for the same data. Then we inventory interfaces, VLANs, and TMM's CPU binding. Let's get into it. Lab 1, SSH to the management IP and confirm hardware platform and serial number first. Confirm the TMOS version and build. Now the license, look for Local Traffic Manager under active modules. Which modules are actually provisioned? And a quick overall health check, CPU, memory disk, TMM uptime. Lab 2, same data, 2 interfaces, start in TMSH, device and traffic group membership. Now the exact same hardware data pulled through the iControl REST API instead. License data, same story. REST and TMSH agree because they're reading the same underlying config. Lab 3, inventory the physical interfaces and confirm link state. Existing VLANs, on day 0, this should just be management. The self IP table and TMM CPU affinity, confirming it's running and bound to cores. Root table, then a live connectivity check off the management plane. And that's the full orientation pass. There are self-check questions on the lesson page worth sitting with. The control plane versus data plane distinction especially, since it comes back constantly once we start making real changes. Take a minute with those. Quick recap before we go. TMOS splits control plane from data plane. TMM handles every packet. And that isolation is what makes config changes and TMM restarts non-disruptive to each other. LTM is a full proxy. It terminates both sides of a connection independently, which is the foundation every other module builds on. Licensing tiers are good, better, and best. Verify with TMSH show sys license, not by guessing from what the GUI shows you. And TMSH and iControl REST expose the same underlying data 2 different ways. You'll use both throughout this bootcamp, so get comfortable translating between them now. All right, that's day 00 in the books. You know what this box is, how TMOS is built, and how to read its own licensing and hardware state back to yourself. That's the foundation for everything else this month. If this was useful, hit subscribe. You won't miss a single lesson. Next up is day 01, initial setup and first login. See you there.